Hello and welcome to the Game Lore Archives. Today we're discussing the main events of Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Now, Morrowind is a huge game with close to 500 quests, and most of these really don't impact on the overall lore. So to keep the episode at a manageable length, we'll only be discussing the main quest lines of the game and its expansions. This means if you haven't played the game yet, the majority of the quests will be unspoiled. But of course, this whole episode is a giant spoiler, so if you want the main storyline to be a surprise, go and play it before watching this.
So, Morrowind is a really interesting game, which many still class as the best Elder Scrolls game to date, mainly due to the twisted fungal landscapes not really found in any other RPG. Now, I'm personally more of an Oblivion man myself, but I can't deny that Morrowind is one of the most lore-heavy games in the series.
An unnamed hero,
who we will refer to as Outlander for now, as everyone else does in the game,
awakens on an Imperial prison ship. He has arrived in Morrowind and is to be a free man upon arrival.
His freedom being authorised by the Emperor Uriel Septim VII himself.
When he's released, he is given a package to be taken to a man called Caius Cosades in Balmora City. He is a member of the Blades, a secret organisation who spies for the Emperor and makes you a member. His first mission for you is to find out information on two growing cults in the area, the Neverine cult and the Sixth House secret cult.
Every Dunmer belongs in a house, or they are classed as Ashlanders, which are usually banished from living in the cities. House Dagoth was a sixth house. However, once the Tribunal rose to power and told of Dagoth's betrayal, they made the house extinct, distributing the members to the other houses. The cult of the Sixth House seems to be made of people who believe the Tribunal shouldn't have used the tools and Dagoth was right to defend them. So, when their house was destroyed, the cult formed, and they silently waited the time Dagoth returned.
The Neverine Prophecies is obviously named after Azura's prophecy, and is a cult that the Ashlanders follow. The Ashlanders believe that the Tribunal is wrong, and the three good Daedra should still be worshipped as the Chimera of old did. Although almost all the Ashlanders follow this view, however, religion is outlawed, so it is completely hidden.
The Outlander researches the cults and begins to have strange dreams at night. When you report to Caius with your findings, he informs the Outlander that he was sent there as the Emperor believes he is the prophesied Neverine, and wants you to fulfill the legend and rid Morrowind of Dagoth Ur's presence. Caius believes the Ashlander tribe Ursiliku will be able to help steer you into becoming the Neverine.
Silmatil, the leader of the Ursilaku tribe, refuses to discuss the cult's traditions with you until you become an adopted member of the tribe. Once you have passed a trial known as the Harrowing, he sends you to the village wise woman, Nibani Mesa. Nibani listens to the Outlander's tale and tells him he is not the Neverine, at least not yet. She tells you that some things fit the puzzle, but you must find the remaining pieces to become the true Neverine. However, many of the prophecies are lost in time, so if you choose to be the Neverine, you must find the lost prophecies. Once these are found, Nibani will aid you in their completion.
Caius sends word to a college stationed at the Dissentient Priests,
which are priests to the Temple of the Tribunal,
to see if they know what the lost prophecies are. While he waits to hear back from them, he asks you to go to Fort Buckmouth to aid an Imperial Legion in killing a group of Sixth House cult members and their leader, Dagoth Gares. However, things look grim on arrival. An entire patrol has died while attacking the base, and only one survivor returned, horrifically disfigured by the Corpus disease.
Corpus is a magical disease created by Dagoth Ur and is spread by the ash storms that he creates. It causes disfiguration such as bloating of the skin and twisting of the bones, and the infected go insane. While you have Corpus, however, you are actually immune to all other diseases. To keep the infected ash storms at bay, the Tribunal created a magical ghost fence that they keep in place at all times to prevent the citizens of Morrowind from feeling the effects of the storms.
This remaining soldier was allowed to live, so he can tell everybody that the sixth house has risen. However, he dies after passing the message due to the infliction. The Neverina finds the hidden base and kills the leader, Dagoth Gareth. However, as he dies, he is infected with the lethal disease.
You quickly return to Caius Casodes to try and find a cure, terrified of what the disease will do to you. Caius tells you of a wizard who's been looking for a cure and caring for the survivors for a long time. Devaeth has a unique view of Corpus in that he thinks Corpus is divine in nature.
So, obviously, Corpus distorts the body and twists the mind, while making you immune to every other illness. His hypothesis is that if you manage to cure the symptoms, however, leave the disease active in your system, you would technically be immune to all illnesses found unknown.
It's a good theory, to be fair. Devaeth says that he's created a potion that should theoretically manage to achieve this balance to make you immune from everything. However, no one has survived the potion so far. However, he refuses to give you the potion until you have wandered the crypts below his laboratory. The crypts are full of his other patients, and he wants you to know what will happen if the potion fails. As you explore the crypts, you find the last living Dwemer who didn't vanish with the rest of his race. When you return to Devaeth, he gives you the potion, and by some miracle, it actually works. You return to Caius to share the good news and for your next orders.
Caius has some good news on your return. He has a lead on the Lost Prophecies and wants you to go to the Hall of Wisdom and Justice. A woman named Mera has knowledge of them for you to take to the wise woman Nibani. However, Caius has been recalled to the Imperial City, so this will be your last meeting with him. You've been slowly going up the ranks of the Blades while doing the missions, and he now makes you a fully fledged member. You soon discover that Maya has actually been locked in the Ministry of Truth, a giant floating prison and the most heavily guarded prison in all of Tamriel. You aid Mera's escape and take her to the Holomaean Monastery to hide. The abbots of the monastery thank you by revealing the lost prophecies of the Neverina. You return to the Ursiluku tribe and tell Nabina what you have learned. With this knowledge, she agrees to help you fulfill the prophecy. She tells you to find the Cavern of the Incarnate, unlock the door, and find the moon and star. The moon and star being a magical ring which was once worn by Indoril Neverin and can only be worn by the Neverina. Anyone else who tries will die. You find the cavern,
which only opens at dawn,
and see the ring floating by a statue of Azura. When you take the ring, 6 ghosts appear and the voice of Azura echoes in your head. The surrounding ghosts are all failed incarnates of Indoril Nevera, who tried to fulfill the prophecy and died. The ghosts confirm that you are Neverana reborn, and your next task is to unite the Great Houses and the Ashlander tribes.
The 4th and 5th trial is to become the Hortator to the Great Houses.
The Hortator is a war leader that each house believes in and is willing to follow into battle.
And the Neverine to the Ashlander tribes. You return to Nibali Mesa, who agrees to name you the true Neverine of her tribe, and tells you what that means so that you may truly understand why a war leader is needed.
She tells you that the curse on Dagoth and the 6 houses threaten the land. The false gods lie and offer a false hope of protection. You bear the moon and star, which proves you are the Neverine. She tells you to tell people that you've seen the threat of the 6th house and have fought against them. Tell people that you know the curse of Corpus. With that knowledge, she then names you the tribe's Neverine. You begin to find all the representatives of the great houses and tribes. When you become the first house Hortator, you receive a letter requesting you come to Vivek's palace and meet the Archcanon if you manage to complete both the 4th and 5th trials. You manage to complete the task by completing missions for each house and each tribe, one after the other. It's a long job, far too long to go into detail for this episode, but eventually you manage it and return to Nabini.
Nabini tells you the next trial is to get access to Karganek's tools.
The tools that the Tribunal used to ascend to godhood.
She recommends you go to Vivek's palace and talk with the Archcanon, if only to try and locate the tools. But when you meet the Archcanon, he tells you that Vivek himself wishes to see you. Vivek tells you how desperate the situation with Dagoth is and offers you to work with him instead of against him. If you choose to work with him, he'll call off the temple's guards, who hunt down all false prophets. Alternatively, you can choose to not side with Vivek and actually kill him.
From a lore standpoint, Vivek's death is only known as a rumour. Some say the Neverine killed Vivek, while others say he was taken by Daedra or vanished in the Oblivion Crisis.
If you do choose to kill the god, you find an unknown Dwemer artifact along with battle plans to kill Dagoth. You take the mysterious artifact to Yagrum Bagran.
Because he's a dwarf, and dwarfs are smart.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And he identifies it as one of Karganak's tools, Wraithguard. He says if you bring him Karganak plan book and journal, he will restore it for you. These items are found in Dwemer ruins, and once Yagrum has them, he restores Wraithguard's enchantments. However, equipping Wraithguard takes a terrible toll on you, and your character's maximum health will be reduced by about 200 points. You collect the 2 remaining tools, whose locations are listed in Vivek's plans, and then head to Citadel Dagoth.
Which pushes us on to if you help Vivek. So alternatively, he will give you Wraithguard and will train you on how to use it instantly without taking any health damage.
That sounds like a better plan.
Yeah.
He does this actually by taking you out of time and space, training you for an unknown amount of time, and then teleporting you back.
So you don't complete the training, you literally disappear off the screen and get teleported back 1 second later.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So with your training complete, he then tells you his 5-step plan. Step 1 and 2, weaken Dagoth's armies. Step 3 and 4 are to recover the other 2 tools of Karganak. And finally, you are to launch a final assault on Dagoth. Using the 3 tools of Karganak to defeat Dagoth. So Dagoth has been hiding in the Heart Chamber for untold amount of years and has managed to gain powers from it, much like the Tribunal did with the tools. Because he didn't have the tools, there were side effects. So he's unkillable until his connection to Lorkhan's heart is severed. Once this connection is severed, Dagoth will die on his own. However, this will also affect the Tribunal. They won't die, as they did use the tools, but it will strip them of their godlike powers and reduce them to being normal mortals. Vivek believes this is necessary to save the citizens of Morrowind. You complete these steps and head to the Citadel Dagoth to destroy Dagoth once and for all.
So, regardless of whether Vivek is alive or not, the Neverine finds himself outside the Citadel of Dagoth, slowly getting deeper towards Dagoth. As you kill his army, you can hear him whispering in your ear, welcoming you closer. When you meet him face to face, he greets you as an old friend. Which,
don't forget, Dagoth and Indoral were close friends. He only defended the tools as he thought the Neverer was making a mistake. And in Dagoth's mind, he is really not the bad guy here and was following his orders given to him. And it was Indorial who changed his mind and the Tribunal who betrayed Azura by using the tools.
However, he tells you that he can't let you live, even if you're planning to join him. And so he attacks you. You fight briefly, and you defeat him quite easily until he vanishes. With Dagoth gone, you continue to explore until you find the Chamber of Lorkhan's heart. When you find it, Dagoth appears again, incredibly strong this time, and keeps attacking you. Immune to your attacks until you destroy the heart. The same blow that destroys the heart, Dagoth is destroyed as well, and the Tribunal is made mortal once more. Azura congratulates you and gives you a ring for fulfilling her prophecy, which is the end of Morrowind's main storyline. A ring?
Yeah, just a ring.
Are you serious?
Just a ring. But obviously, the end of the main storyline is not the end of the game. There are, of course, 2 DLCs, both quite long and both with their own quest lines. So in the timeline, the first DLC comes first. However, the second one isn't really important for a lore standpoint, so I'll summarise it briefly before going into the other DLC with a lot more relevance to the big picture. So the second DLC is called Blood Moon. You travel to the island of Solstheim, a small island situated between Skyrim and Morrowind.
And those of you who have played Skyrim will recognise the island from the Dragonborn DLC.
When you arrive in Solstheim, many omens start to occur, which all mentioned in the Blood Moon prophecies, which foretell the hunt of Hircine.
Which, surprise, surprise, actually happens.
Hircine the Daedric Prince of the Hunt, is able to walk on Nirn during the hunt. However, what happens in the hunt and where it takes place varies each time. You can either hinder the hunt's coming or aid it by transforming into a werewolf. However, it will happen no matter what. During the hunt, you and several of the champions are picked and transported to a maze. You must hunt the other champions down to win, and then fight an aspect of Hircine in open battle. Once you win, you are released, and kind of game done.
And that leaves us with Tribunal, the far more lore-heavy DLC. So, while wandering around Morrowind, randomly, you're attacked by the Dark Brotherhood, and you report the attack to the Imperial Guards, who suggest going to Mournhold, the Imperial capital city of Morrowind, as that is where the largest presence of Dark Brotherhood can be found. You find the hideout in the ruins of Old Mournhold, and wipe them out. On the leader's corpse is a contract for your life signed by H.
You take the contract to Tenius Delitian, captain of the Royal Guard, who tells you it was the King of Mournhold, Henzeth, who hired the assassins, as he believes you are a threat, which is weird as you've never been off Main Island. But they say that if you're willing to help the king, you'll prove that your intentions are good, and the assassination attempts will stop.
So he doesn't really give you much of a choice.
No, so of course you help. All of your help revolves really around the king's reputation and his rise to power. Many people believe that Helseth killed the last king. They believe the Imperial Legion are lying to them when they say the old king died of natural causes.
I mean, you can't really blame them. The reason you're here is he literally hired assassins against you when you've never even heard of him.
Well, good or bad, you have to help. So, to do multiple quests to stop people plotting against him, and while doing this, you learn that the Almalexia Temple...
Almalexia is one of the Tribunal, and was actually Indoril Neverod's wife.
And that the temple is working on destroying the king. Once you've helped the King Henzeth's mother, the Queen Baronzia,
whose biography is the real Baronezia,
Baronzia requests that you make yourself known at Almalexia's temple.
You find Friedrich's Hler, H-L-E-R, Hler.
It's literally Hler.
The chief steward of the temple, who gives you a few small tasks until you're trusted with something actually important. Finding an artifact called the Mazed Band. Once you've retrieved this, Almalexia wishes to speak to you directly and thanks you for your service. With nothing else to do, you wander around Mournhold completing side quests until it's attacked out of the blue by weird creatures, half flesh and half mechanical. You help the guards fend off the attack and then follow them to a nearby Dwemer room where they think that the attack originates from them. However, when you arrive, the strange creatures are at war with the Dwemer constructs. You report your finding to King Helseth and Baronzia, who finally trust you and agree to call off the Dark Brotherhood. He also requests you gather more information on Almalexia, as he believes she is behind the attack.
So when you speak to Almalexia, she is concerned about a growing cult that has formed, who believe the end of the world is nigh. They believe that the Tribunal have lost their powers.
Which, of course, they have, due to your actions.
And that the gates of oblivion will open up and Daedra will attack the land.
Oh, God forbid. It's almost like she spoke to Bethesda and found out what oblivion was about.
So they're sacrificing themselves in attempt to warn their ancestors. So when the Daedric attack does come, their ancestral ghosts will help the living fight them off. Almalexia is not happy when you tell her that what the cult believes. Furious, they doubt her godhood. She tells you to go to the Dwemer ruins of Bams Amsend and activate a weather-controlling device to create huge ash storms that will make the cult believe in her powers once more.
So the ridiculous plan goes about as well as could be expected and makes everything 100 times worse. The cult leader starts telling people Almalexia's show of power proves she's gone insane and expects it to double the cult's numbers.
I love that because it's a cult and obviously cults aren't known for their rational thinking. The first thing was, she's losing her power. They now think she's got her powers and it's now. We were just saying she was insane the whole time.
She's just gone crazy. Innocent people are being injured in the ash storm and some even die. You plead with Almalexia to stop the storm. However, she is pleased with people's fear and instead wishes you to retrieve the sword of her long-dead husband, Hopesfire. The sword is the twin of Almalexia's, both blades gifted to them on their wedding day. She finally believes that you are in fact Indoril Neverra, reincarnate, and believes the sword is your birthright. However, it was smashed into 3 pieces, and when you find them, you take the pieces to a master blacksmith who forges them into one, and then take it to a Dwemer ghost who tells you how to restore the blade's enchantments.
When you present Hope's Far to Almalexia, she asks you for one final favour. She wants you to go to the Clockwork City and just kill Sothersil.
Clockwork City is a huge city that Sothersil built, which sits outside of space and time, where he wanted to forge the future.
Sothersil is the last Tribunal member you have yet to meet, who according to Almalexia has become increasingly unstable and believes he released the half-mechanical, half-flesh creatures, either on purpose or by accident because he's insane. You agree to stop him, so Almalexia teleports you to the city. Once there, you fight your way to the central dome. However, Sothersil is already dead, hanging by his own contraptions. Almalexia appears behind you, and she is mad. She wanted you to die trying to get to Sothersil, so she could tell people you died trying to protect Morrowind and become her martyr. She killed Sothersil and released his creatures, and without her godlike powers, she has had to use the Mazed Band,
the artifact which you previously retrieved for her,
to teleport you and her in and out of the city. Almalexia refuses to believe that she is mortal again and will do anything for people to still view her as a god. She attacks you, and even as a mortal, is a vicious foe. Eventually you do manage to kill her, and you use the Maze Band to teleport back to Mournhold.
Azura congratulates you on stopping Almalexia, as she would have eventually turned on the Dwemer race as she did you and Sothersil. She tells you not to grieve for Sothersil, as his mortality was shed long ago. The Tribunal's powers were not meant for mortals, and death would have been a relief. And with that, we conclude the entire main storyline of Morrowind.
So, thanks ever so much for watching the Game Lore Archives, and join us next episode for my personal favourite game in this series, Oblivion. We'll see you then.